All right, here we go. So, welcome back. This is bonus episode, holiday edition. So it is Thanksgiving Day, and I've got a bunch of family members in. So we are inviting some folks in to just kind of extend some conversations we've had in the past and just see how it goes. So this will be a shorter one, hopefully about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Turkey's waiting, so...
Turkey's waiting. Everyone's primed downstairs. I'm primed right now, fired up, ready to go. We got
That's good.
Yeah, we got a good crowd of people here. Starting, I guess, on my left, we got Mikey Cap. Say what's up, Mikey.
What's going on, everybody?
The second Floyd Mayweather in the cut, soon to be world champion boxer. Next, we got Mr. Mario Capanna.
Yo.
These guys are all stellar.
Yeah, and then the next person we got is the Kevin Luna Leone.
Yeah, what's up?
who, by the way, is wearing one of the pre-released Exclusive Minds hoodies.
Yes, sir.
Which you'll be able to get sometime in the next week or so at exmnds.com.
Woohoo!
Or exclusiveminds.us.
Yes, sir.
Or exclusivemindspodcast.com.
This guy Joe loves securing the web URLs for everything. I
am the business guy here, so I'm
loves
trying
doing
to get the sale.
So Kev, how do you like the hoodie so far, man? Talk to us about it. What's your favorite part about this thing?
It's really great, to be honest with you. At work, I do get a lot of compliments from the ladies.
Hey.
So that's kind of where I'm going with it.
Would you say that wearing our hoodies gets you more ladies? Or men, if you're into that type of thing.
Well, right now I'm girlless.
Oh, this is just going off the rails. We're only like 5 minutes in and we're off the rails.
Hey, you get the looks. I'm just saying.
So, Kev, do you think you should pay for the first date? Yes or no? Just kidding. Yo, we're having a good time, man. It's the bonus episode.
This is depending on the girl.
Okay, depending on the girl.
Yeah, if she's gonna put out or not, you know.
Whoa! No.
You didn't say what we had to say or not.
Anyway, so we're kicking it off. So to kind of give like a background on all of us, Mario, you are 22.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin,
21.
Myself, 22.
55.
55 going on, 22.
I can't drive. 55.
And then we got Mikey Cap. How old are you, Mikey Cap?
17.
Okay.
All right, so we got good representation.
Good representation.
So anyway,
great.
Look, couple things. Let's just jump right into it. So we talked about Exclusive Minds. We got some closing coming out. Look for that in the next week or so.
Yeah. Thank God you're here, Joe.
Let's talk about an update on the podcast real quick. Actually, on Exclusive Minds, we did make our annual donation to Breast Cancer Research Foundation. So thank you to all those that bought the breast cancer hoodie. That donation was made today. And we do have a few left on the storefront. So if you missed out, you can still buy. And we will continue to contribute based on those sales as they happen. But again, thank you all. It's definitely a worthwhile cause. And we'll continue to do that every year.
This is on the spot. I'm putting Joe on the spot. Didn't go over this. Will we have a Black Friday sale tomorrow? Or
there's already a sale active.
Is there a sale? Okay,
right?
all right.
So everything is basically on sale on the store, with the exception of the breast cancer hoodies. Right?
Yeah, well, any of our new stuff, we're not going to put it on sale. It's usually typically after like a long period of time that we do that. But let's get into the meat and potatoes. The whole reason that we're...
Hang on.
Oh, wait, was there more?
Slow down.
Oh, sorry, man.
This dude's shot out of a cannon today. Which is,
you're
usually the soft and quiet guy, not running the show. He is
Let's talk about that.
Joe knows why I'm worked up right now. He's trying to act like I just came up here like this.
Shh, calm down.
All right,
calm
we're
down.
good.
Take a deep breath. That's that coffee that he just had.
Yeah, the coffee.
Coffee brought to you by Starbucks, our lead sponsor for this show.
Call it Starbucks and Nespresso.
So anyway, quick update on the podcast. I have spent some time practicing GarageBand, so hopefully in a future episode we'll actually have some real editing, and thanks to some of the comments earlier in this podcast, maybe we'll have to cut them out. Oh man.
What? No, anyway, we're not cutting anything out.
I'm joking. Okay. We're not nothing will be cut out, but I am actually getting kind of versed at podcasting or GarageBand, so
good.
We'll see how that works out. It's kind of interesting too. I've also been reading that one of the things that I think most podcasters start off with is they think their voice just completely is not for podcasting, and I'm reading everywhere across the internet all these people that have done podcasts that suggest that your voice just doesn't matter. People don't care, right? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I've been making videos on YouTube for like as long as I can remember, like back in the day. So I'm always used to hearing myself talk. I don't know if that's like self-conscious, ego, whatever you want to call it, but that's I always was like, I guess that's like my era of things. I was been making YouTube videos since I was like
I think so.
10 years old.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know. I think my age group were more self-conscious of these kinds of things. Like, so initially I was like, I don't have a voice for this, right? It's just going to be awful. And
yeah.
I hear myself, and even when I was messing around with GarageBand, I was trying to do kind of like a standard intro, like, welcome to the Exclusive Minds podcast, right? And I was like, oh, that just doesn't sound good. Yeah. And then I'm looking, I'm like, these people are like, no one cares. No one cares. They care about the content. They don't care about your voice.
I think what people think about more is trying to put the face to the person. I feel like that's always more interesting than actually like hearing the person. I feel like that's probably what people think, like, oh, I wonder what this person looks like, you know?
Which obviously brings us the video, which is hopefully next year. Well, have to figure that out, and that's already brought up some questions with me. Is like, well, do you do a 2-camera shoot or a 1-camera shoot? And it's just it's like, oh boy, and then you got to edit that, right? If you have 2 cameras, you got to go back and forth on the cutting, and I don't know if I have time for that. But anyway, so
let's get it.
Let's get into it. So again, Thanksgiving, we have family over, and it obviously we could just do this for fun. But we actually did want to bring on Mario because this is kind of an extension to one of the previous conversations we had about college and college and the value of college and what other routes are to, kind of the real world, right? And I say real world just kind of jokingly, but the real world in making money and just kind of making a living and moving on. So trades, that's something we talked about, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, you can do 4 years of college, or you can go right out of college or right out of school and get into the trades. And so Mario's taking the trade route. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to bring him on and just get, sort of a feel for how that's going and what that looks like. Because again, it's a very viable career choice.
So Mario, did you want to go to college, or what was your whole plan, like fresh out of the gate of high school? Like where was your head at, come senior year of high school? You have to get close, man.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get real nice and close, man.
He's not an official podcast.
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't think I had the voice for it either, but
you sound good, man. You sound good.
So originally, when I was in graduated high school, the whole plan was to go to college, obviously get a degree, but the whole process of being in the thought of being in debt, going through the college classes and all that, I didn't see myself going through that.
Yeah.
So I never thought I'd be in a trade this early, but my parents said, hey, would you consider this? So I said, yeah, I would. And through my cousin on my mom's side, she said, I work for Oliver, which she then hooked me up.
Oliver's the company you work for? Okay.
And she got me an interview, and after that, I just pretty much necessarily finished the semester at college and just never went back.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like that's a lot of people nowadays are doing that. I know a majority of my friends, they're entering the trades, whether it be, what you're doing, like the HVAC or construction or, anything, rebar, whatever the case is. I feel like that's a very common thing that people are doing nowadays. Just like I feel like colleges, I mean, these are two things that, they're options for people to have to choose from. So, so did you have any experience before going to Oliver?
I didn't go. So for me personally, I went in just pretty much with no experience, no VOTech, if anybody's in high school. Just went in and they teach you self pretty much on the job.
Yeah. And was it easy to pick up?
Oh yeah, I can say after 3 months of working there, you learn every part of the tools, you start learning the units, like what to do. There's still more for me to learn, but after 3 months I can say I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
And
so what is I know we talked about this before off air, but what does the apprenticeship look like? Are you partnering up with a more senior person and kind of shadowing them, and how long does it last? What's that kind of typically look like?
So typically for anybody in a trade, an apprenticeship is 2 years, and you're always on a team of 2 to 5 people.
Okay.
Your foreman, which is the lead guy, is typically 10 plus years into the trade. So he's the one that's taking all the responsibility of the job, making sure everything's right. And then you have 2 other guys, myself, which is just get all the tools ready and make sure everything's prepared. Then you have your middle guy that's 5 plus years into the trade. He's your right hand man.
So it's like a ranking system type deal. Okay, so how long would it take you to be the head of your
Depends
squad?
on how much you pick up in a short amount of time. My one friend that I work with, he picked up like he's pretty much like almost I would say a lead. He's 23. He got a truck after 2 years of joining the trade. So
yeah, so good money to be made.
yeah, so he's already gotten like he's pretty much risen to like a good rank.
So I mean, this kind of goes back to what we talked about, right? So if you look at the track to go into a 4-year college, right? 4 years. You come out pretty heavy in debt, likely, right? Unless you've got scholarships and stuff like that.
Unless the COVID year. I mean, like...
And, you know, at the end of the 4 years, you're basically looking at an entry-level position wherever, you know, you decide to get into. And so, obviously, in the trades, right, if you actually did start right out of college or high school, you're looking at 4 years of solid, you know, experience. Mm-hmm. So... Gosh, I mean, you know, when you're matching up against, you know, your college brethren, you've already got 4 years under your belt of, you know, hard, intense work, and you're almost at the point where you're sort of that lead guy.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say, like, I'm not saying, like, to anybody out there, if you want to get into a trade, you can always go back to college, and vice versa. If you want to go to college first and see wherever your whatever you're studying in college takes you, but you want to do a trade after that, you can also do that. So you can always depend on what you want to do. You can always go back to what you want to be.
So I know this is going to be kind of, and then we'll get to Kevin and Mikey here soon, but this is going to be kind of moving in a more like financial point of view. I know you used to work at Acme, and that was like, you were kind of like on like a set like rate of like how much you get paid or whatever. Now that you have like more income coming in your way, like what are some things that you're doing? Are you just like saving it? Are you investing in any of that? Or like what's your...
So right now it's just a lot of saving.
Just a saving, yeah.
As a person who has minimal, I guess, bill payments, that's all I'm pretty much doing right now is saving of my money. And yeah, maybe in the future, maybe a little bit of investing. Yeah. Depending on how I look at things.
Yeah, I mean, you what's like. So I know you're like you want to get into like the stock market, and we talk. That's like a conversation that we always have on the podcast. We always bring it back to that. Is it something where you're interested in doing that, like you said? Like, do you just like not like know where to start with that, or is it just something where you just kind of like more like scared of like, oh, I'm just throwing this out there and hoping that it comes back type deal?
So depending on how much I would put into the stock, I'm okay with letting it sit. Yeah. But I would have to have like, oh, I know this stock's gonna like be good. I can't just let say I put $1,000 in. Just let it sit there. Yeah. And I can't just like from you guys, I know I would be like, oh, if you tell me to put some money, I'm like, all right, yeah. Yeah. But I can't just like look up a video and listen to one guy like, oh yeah, put in this stock. I guarantee you it'll work. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's a conversation we had. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Do you have thoughts on cryptocurrency?
It definitely interests me.
Get a little bit closer.
So from like me and David talk, like group chats and all that, like all of our friends are pretty much getting into it. Definitely interests me. I just haven't put enough effort into looking into the crypto,
like learning about it and stuff.
Bitcoin and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a gamble. You're basically going to a casino and red or black at this point. Like, I mean, we talked about it last episode with Wade and John. Me and Wade and Kevin too. We're invested in this thing called Quant. And, shout out to that. I hope you guys invest in it, but get the price up. We're losing a lot of money in it, needless to say, but it's one of those things where you kind of just hope that it goes back up. You never want to like pull out when you're down because
is not a strategy.
And we're not financial advisors, may I add.
And we are not financial advisors.
So
but you
that's
never
something
want to use the word hope in any sentence ever.
But we support what the company is, and we support the whole thing around it. So hope was just more or less just a term I was using. But anyway, yeah. So we'll go back to Mario and Kevin. We got Kevin and Mikey here. So Kev, let's get you on the mic here, man.
Not joyful.
So I guess this would be better for you to ask the questions, because I know this guy texts me every single day. I get text messages. I wake up, I fall asleep.
In fairness, I don't know Kevin, so I don't even know what to ask him. I mean,
you don't know what to ask him?
I mean,
okay.
Throw questions out
there.
Are
you in the trades or are you in college?
That's the first step.
I said screw college, and I went straight to work.
Yeah. What'd you do for work? What was your first job right out of work?
Well, it was landscaping. Mm-hmm. Did that for a little bit. I graduated high school with a culinary degree. Oh. But I kind of just went into that class because there was a girl there, and I was like...
Oh, here we go. So
it's one of my greatest ideas. It's a good idea.
So, with the culinary thing, you said it was just strictly for the girl. Now, do you plan on doing anything with the culinary degrees, or the whatever you would have, like the certificate or anything like that?
Absolutely not.
So what are you doing nowadays, Kev?
Well, I work at a mushroom company as a quality assurance technician.
Okay.
So I just kind of walk around the area and handle 190 plus people. So like they're following the rules and all that. And they give you a hard time, but it's just like follow the rules or, get fired.
Sure. No, I get it. I mean, it's very similar to the trade route. So.
Yeah. Now, did you have any like interest in doing like trades, or do you see yourself at this company kind of working your way up through the ranks? Like, what's your whole end goal? Where do you see yourself?
I always like to learn things. So like from an old job, I was more like a hands-on labor, manual labor, machines, all this. And then we had a dispute, so I can't say for like legal reasons because I'm doing stuff with that. So I quit. I got into this one, much more easier, it's just so much better.
Well, before you were doing like actual, like you said, you were doing manual labor. You were out there like picking mushrooms and stuff, and now you're.
Whoa, Joe.
Oh, sorry.
That's just bottom of the barrel.
Right. Sorry, but
I was a little bit higher.
At one point, you were doing that, and then now you're doing the office stuff. So does that kind of like, is that like inspirational for you? That
because I would say I started from nothing because I just left school, did not pursue any like culinary thing wise that I had like a mindset on. So I just went into that job. And I just kind of just build my way up, and then here I am, stuck in an office doing nothing.
Well, I mean, hey man, there's always something for you, and you
the
never know.
YouTube
Like
videos are killer.
Yeah, bro. This guy Kevin, he'll be at work. He'll send me Snapchats of him just at work, bro. I'm like, come on, Kev, what are you doing? Like this guy. So now moving over, we got Mikey Capanna. Mikey, in high school. What's your plan, man? What are you doing?
What do you mean, like after high school?
Just now, what are you doing? What's up with Mikey Cap, man?
Nothing much. Just trying to get through my senior year.
What's your plans afterwards?
Definitely follow like my brother's route. Go to like a trade with like the same company, and
you want to do like the HVAC stuff?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I know your dad does like the construction. Did you ever think about doing construction?
I did think about it, but he like told me like no, like you do want to stay away from that. It's hard work. You get like no breaks, and it's just like he just told me stay away from it. Go to like a trade where you get like good money, like good company that gives you like paid vacation, paid like sick days, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah. Sounds like great advice.
Tough to hear you on the mic. It's directional. So, anyway. So, the one thing I want to ask you is obviously I know you are a huge boxing fan and actually do training. So, what are your thoughts on the upcoming Tommy Floyd match with, what's his name? Paul Logan. Is it Paul Logan or Mike Logan or
You got it, Joe. Don't worry.
J. Paul something? Isn't he? He's a designer, right? I don't. So, obviously, I'm the old dude. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But so, what's your thoughts on this fight?
I think it's a good fight. In like general, I feel like it's good for boxing either way.
But this is the first time he's actually fighting a real, actual fighter, right? Well, I mean, I know Mayweather just carried him, like literally carried him. Like, physically carried him.
I would say like Tommy Fury is definitely like a decent boxer. He's not like top tier like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, like his brother.
Yeah.
Like,
of course.
I think Jake, he progresses each like training camp. That's the thing that I will give him that. He has a good training person right now. I think it's like BJ Flores. But his ex-trainer, he was trained by Sugar Shane Mosley, great world champion. So I think what he's doing personally is great for boxing. It definitely brings more eyes to it. It definitely just adds like a whole new perspective because he adds like, obviously the thing with Dana White, he has like, he gets him there. That adds more hype to his fights, adds more hype to boxing, and just like the people he adds on the cards. Like it just makes sense to me what he's doing.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I mean, these guys are legit money, right? I mean, that's what it's really all about at the end of the day is the money. And I thought I heard that Tommy he's got the chance to make as much money as some of the top ranked, like the real legit top ranked heavyweight fighters are going to make in a fight. So it's serious money.
The only thing that Tommy has, like, obviously it's his biggest payday, but the only thing I'm really worried for Jake is that he's trained by his brother Tyson. Like Tyson Fury's just like a dog. Like when me and Mario seen the Wilder fight, and you just seen like absolutely.
Honestly, I mean, all the other fights, it was kind of I hate to say it, right? It was more for the commercial or the commercialism and and the monetary thing. This fight, like, there's so much tension and heat, and it is one of these things that this dude is seriously fighting for some pride, right? If he doesn't beat this guy, his family's going to ridicule him up and down, and he is all over the trade rags and the social media in the UK that he just his life's over if he doesn't win.
What did his dad say? Like, What did
John Fury, like, what do you mean by like what he said?
if he didn't win?
I think he said he has to take away like the Fury last name, which is insane
That's
to me.
his dad. That's hardcore.
If he doesn't, it's like a convincing knock or a convincing win. He said, right?
Like, yeah, his old man is like, if you don't win,
Convincing
your
him.
name,
Yeah.
you're out of the family. Like, jeez.
That's
really?
why I feel like a lot of people fell against Jake Paul because they're like, he's the YouTube, Disney
well,
Channel. Yeah, that's why like Tyron Woodley, great UFC fighter, but at the same time, like, I was nervous. He had so many opportunities to end Jake Paul in that last fight in August, and that's what a lot of people do. Is that they say in every press conference, every weigh-in, oh, this guy's this. He's still that YouTuber, social media person. But I think Jake Paul for real is like a real serious fighter.
This is for you, Joe. What do you think about Logan Paul calling out Mike Tyson, Iron Mike?
Oh, come on. I mean, come on. It's for the money. This shit's all about the money.
Would you go to the fight, Joe?
Like, that dude would get killed. I mean, Tyson, even in his 50s, would kill people.
What do you think
Come
about
on.
that?
I think it's just like, obviously what Joe said, it's for the money, it's for the hype. You just can't.
Paul's a fight? Or a
Huh?
chance? You think Logan Paul has a chance?
No shot.
No.
No.
What about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson?
Let's face facts. He had no chance against of Mayweather either, right? I mean, Mayweather would have killed him, and he come on.
Although Jake Paul is
What about
a
Jake Paul?
Jake Paul is a better fighter than Logan, you're talking about Tyson. You know, WBC, WBA, IBF champion.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a
even though
whole different.
he's 50 years old, it's still Mike Tyson. He's still gonna he still trains like he was like 20 in, you know,
He has
Brooklyn.
that sparring footage, bro. He looks like a demon, bro. I see him.
It's-
I'm like, damn, this crazy. He's like 50 years old. I'm like, jeez.
No, that's legit. So come on, that's craziness. It's just hyping it up, which is cool. I mean, you can't blame them. Right? I'm all for it. Love it.
You got to give credit to the Paul brothers though, because they know how to generate. I know you said it, like they know how to bring money in, dude. Like no matter what they're doing, I know you're a big fan of like their stuff, so it's great what you know them
And
bringing back.
that's why they're laughing to the bank, right?
Exactly.
All
I mean,
this, you know, we could talk. We're talking about this, right?
exactly.
We're talking about this in legitimate boxing sense, which is, you know, you could sit there and say as a joke, and I know he's really put some serious effort behind his boxing, right? I mean, it's legit, right? He's training, but let's face facts. This is all about the almighty buck, and it's all about, you know, social media traction. And he's really good at it.
Yeah, I mean,
Really good at it.
you guys feel free to chip in on this too. And this is, I don't know, are you familiar with the boxer Ryan Garcia?
No.
Young kid. Okay.
Real quick.
What I was gonna say? Do you think Ryan Garcia is overrated or underrated, and why?
Hype is up here.
They can't see.
Hype is at an all-time high. Skills to like the bottom of like everything. I don't know.
You don't like him?
I mean, he versed some decent fighters, but Ryan Garcia, I don't know. There's just so many better fighters like Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis. Like, I just feel like he hasn't proven himself against like a good fighter.
So I think it's very clear that we have to have Mikey back whenever there's a big boxing match, because this guy is dialed in, right? He's rattling off names I've never even heard of.
Yes.
So he is now our official boxing analyst.
Oh, snap.
Thank you.
Next time there's
So
a
we're gonna
fight,
give
we
you
gotta-
we're gonna
gotta
give you
come
props
up.
and credits on the
Get it
on the
up there on the
podcast.
TV.
December 18th, Jake Paul vs. Tommy Fury. I'll be out.
Right. So if you need, well, yeah, this guy knows his stuff. All
We
right.
gotta do it, man. That'd be lit. That'd be awesome.
We're in good shape. Hey, so I got a quick question. How many of you have actually listened to any of the first 4 episodes of our podcast? Be honest.
So every morning when I wake up, when I drive to the job or the job site, I try to listen to podcasts in general. So I click in from time to time during the day, just listen to people talk. So
Okay, you didn't answer the question.
He danced around. Just say none, Merritt.
Nah,
Did you listen to any of the 4 podcasts?
I would stop in the middle, like as
Stop
I'm
in the
trying to
middle.
get to the job.
Stop in the middle.
So he was the one for the 30%.
34%. Son of a...
What about you, Kev?
If I'm being honest, every time I ask David about it, it'd be like, "Did you mention me?" And he says no. I usually just don't tune in. No,
So Kevin's a
no
narcissist.
offense.
That's what it is.
A little bit, but
Okay, all right.
So is it just our podcast, or you just don't listen to podcasts?
I just don't listen to podcasts.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Good question. Good follow-up question.
Yeah.
Brought us back from the dead. Mikey, you listen to podcasts?
I don't listen to too many podcasts. I listened to your first episode full, but other than that, I just kind of been like slacking. I won't listen to you guys, but I'm not like a huge like podcast listener.
So I guess the question is, are you going to listen to this one now that you're in it?
I would say yeah.
Of course.
All right. So
Yeah.
okay. No, fair enough. I mean, it's pretty bad when we can't even get family and friends to listen to our podcast. So I'm gonna cry.
Hey man, we're gonna have to figure something out. Maybe have to beat these guys up. Don't let them leave until we listen to all of it or whatever.
So I know we wanted to keep this one short, so we'll probably wrap up. But hey, another kind of follow up. I happened to stumble across G4 TV. Have you ever watched G4 TV?
I never have. No.
Okay, interesting. So I it's like channel like 800 on
Oh God, I
on,
don't think I have 800 channels.
Verizon Fios, but it's apparently, I guess it's a TV channel that I'm surprised you didn't even heard of, because it's all about video games.
See, it's all about YouTube and digital media. I mean, Twitch, YouTube, they all kind of have that covered.
Okay.
So I mean, like, I guess if it's more for maybe, I don't know.
So anyway, they were doing
I don't know.
They were doing an award show with, like, the top.
Oh,
You know,
I think I've heard of the what's that called? Yeah, I know.
Top teams, top
Yeah,
player,
yeah.
podcaster, top
An award
everything,
show, right?
Yeah. I just happened to catch the award show, and literally I stumbled upon it. But right after the award show, and I wanted to ask you guys about this, is they literally had a 30-minute show that was, I guess, people playing Dungeons and Dragons. So you're laughing, but I am kind of curious. Did you guys, any of you guys play Dungeons and Dragons ever?
No, man. I only play like COD and Halo.
I heard about
That's
it.
about it.
I heard about it, never played it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because that was the thing when I was growing up. I mean, I'll confess, I played Dungeons and Dragons and loved it.
Hey,
But it was awful. I mean,
Everyone
it was
got
30
their thing.
minutes, and it was more of kind of like, I want to say it was almost like cheesy theater,
yeah.
it wasn't. So anyway, it just didn't. I was curious. I was like, wow, this is kind of interesting, because I mean, literally, they're talking about Fortnite and League of Legends and all these gamers and stuff like that. And then it goes into this 30-minute Dungeons and Dragons thing, and I'm like, I can't imagine any of these kids are playing Dungeons and Dragons.
League of Legends has some serious fan following.
Yeah,
That
I
is
get it.
actually crazy. Crazy.
Cool.
Sports thing they do as well.
Yeah, it's like the top one. Like every time they record, or every time there's like a grand finals or something like that, or just like a regular match, they have like over like 100,000 people watching at any given time.
Yep.
It's crazy.
All right, cool. Well, I think that's kind of it. We'll just
it's
wrap
fun.
up here, cut it short.
We'll have to get these guys on individually. I feel like there's a lot to dissect here, and we had like a short, a short slot that I feel like
yeah, no,
it'd be
and
cool to
we
bring
hit
back.
on a couple topics we wanted to
Yeah.
hit on, so that's cool. So Thanksgiving Day, we're recording this. We're together with friends and family, obviously, here, and hopefully you are as well. Give thanks to everything you have, and if you think you have nothing, definitely reach out to us, because you do, and we thank you for listening to the podcast. And
Buy our clothes.
buy our clothes. Yes.
There you go. Simple.
And then we'll see you for the next episode, probably sometime Sunday, early next week. And then again, we have some releases coming. And thanks. So enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Everyone have a good Thanksgiving. See you.
Take care.
Bye.
That was a little bit. My voice kind of squeaked. Let's cut that out. The last part, Joe. When I said
No.
because it was like.
No cutting.
Roll. We're
No,
still
no, 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 no.
recording. Oh, God.
Oh, jeez.
Leave it all in. Leave it all in.
Oh, it's terrible. Tragic.
I gotta run over to Taylor's. Actually, ended